now. While we are looking
Yes.
at the Nnamdi Kanu's case as something maybe, a case of injustice within the judiciary, within the justice system, while we're looking at this side by side and looking at the federal government's position, and now the appeals court registrar is coming out to say no, this posting is routine. We are also asking why is this such a coincidence? Why is this happening with all that is going on right now? That's big question that we are asking. Why is this posting happening now? Just about days or a week after the Supreme Court, the appeal court justices took a position on this, and afterwards the federal government is coming out to say no, this is not going to happen. And the next news is that of course they're in court already. I think there was a hearing yesterday, but at the bottom of that, justices amongst those who presided over the case were also posted to different places. How much of a coincidence is this right now?
I don't see any coincidence in this. Like I said earlier on, it is a case of the witch crying last night and the child dying this morning, right? So the government, the federal government, know what they are doing. They know what they are doing. So they are not interested in the feelings of the masses. They are not interested in giving justice to the masses, whom they pretend. So it is out of place for somebody to think that this is a coincidence. You see, the government of this present government of APC know that what is happening cannot be justified in any manner. And they let them come out to tell us that it is a coincidence that the justices gave judgment in a case that they are interested in, and the next day or the next week they were transferred away or transferred out of their stations. It doesn't happen anywhere. The government orchestrated that. Perhaps they are not happy, and of course they will not be happy with the judgment given by the judges of the appeal court. So what they're doing is what I can say a kind of punishment to the judges that gave that judgment in favor of Nnamdi Kanu. And by the way, what did this young man do? Why should they go at that extra length, in handing this man? Do they want him to die there?
All right.
I think the government should think again. The government should think again and should not cause more problems that they thought they were solving.
All right, Vincent.
Right. I want to use this opportunity to advise the federal government to let this young man go.
All right.
And most importantly, not to allow anything to happen to him there. In the case of trying to prosecute him for a phantom offense, which the courts themselves have already stated that this young man is innocent of all the allegations that they are levying against him.
All right, thank you. Vincent.
Well, still on this matter, the concern there is, you recall, Vivian, there was a transfer in INEC wherein they said, well, this is somebody that was in charge of beavers, and because they want to compromise the election, they now had to transfer him to an Enugu and made him an administrative secretary. Herein we have another instance. So, Mr. Degbara, to you, do you think that should the appeal court would have said, okay, since Nnamdi Kanu is a very sensitive issue that we're managing, let's allow these justices and leave them out of this transfer, let them face this issue? Shouldn't that have been more reasonable to your mind? Let me get your take.
No, the question to ask is to say that to what end, to what benefits will the federal government get in the court justices of the Court of Appeal? Because to the best of my knowledge, the matter is shifted now, if there is any grounds for appeal, to the Supreme Court. Because the Court of Appeal has dispensed, they have washed their hands off. So the transfer within the Court of Appeal has no bearing, to my mind, to the effects of the case, except there's something I don't know. Otherwise, the attention should be shifted to the Supreme Court. it should be, if there were transfers within the Supreme Court and then some reshufflement, we should be concerned. Now, if there are any grounds of appeal from the federal government, it should be in the Supreme Court. So it has nothing, as far as I'm concerned, against the Nnamdi Kanu's release. I have always been an advocate of the rule of law. I have always opined that the due process must be followed. Recall I said on this program that we should allow the wheel of justice to grind, even though it might grind slowly. But thank God we are here, we are today. And I believe that, because when they say discharge and acquittal, I am trying to wrap my head on the meaning of those two words. Because when you discharge someone of the criminal offenses you have alleged to be of him or to be against him, and then you say you are not discharging or you are not acquitting him, it sounds funny to me. So I am joining that Nnamdi Kanu should be released. Or perhaps if you have any grounds of appeal, take it to the Supreme Court so that we can test the law. But to begin to accuse the Court of Appeal because they do their routine job by transferring, to say that the witch cry in the day and night and all of those things has no bearing, because at the moment there is nothing to talk about. It's the case in the Court of Appeal. The case now shifts to the Supreme Court, and it is the Supreme Court that the world is looking at to take a decision whether or not the federal government was right to keep Nnamdi Kanu after the Court of Appeal has discharged him of the crimes so far alleged.
A quick one, Stephen. Vincent drew a narrative.
Yeah.
When the Beavers thing happened, the man in charge of Beavers, who read, was transferred from running a scientific or a technical, a technology-driven process to an administrative officer. The likes of Obiozekwe, a lot of people came out to raise the voice on this issue. Till date, nothing has come out of that.
Who transferred the man?
Well, we should ask Professor Mahmood. Now let's bring it back
if
to
you
this.
ask Professor Mahmood, is it not the same Professor Mahmood that the opposition party are calling, are standing for today to say that the federal government wants to remove him?
That may be it.
So you are saying that Professor Mahmood, excuse me, Vivian, you are saying that Professor Mahmood transferred an administrative officer of INEC.
That's what we read in the media.
Supposedly in the interest of the ruling party.
Well,
now you're also accusing the ruling party of wanting to remove Professor Mahmood because he is not doing the bidding of the ruling party. How can you reconcile that?
That's your word. We didn't say that the ruling party asked them to transfer. We're just drawing a narrative.
Whoever said so.
Now here is it.
But he can't reconcile that.
Now here is it.
Yes.
We're also talking about another institution of government, so now drawing it down to under the ruling party, and we're talking about the appeal court. A week before Nnamdi Kanu was supposedly discharged, before he was discharged, his lawyers wrote the federal government asking for a political solution to the issue.
Yeah.
7 days or thereabout, the appeal court justices presided and gave a ruling that there was no grounds to keep this man here.
Yeah.
And then, as soon as they finished that ruling, the next news we heard that they were transferred. The Registrar of Appeal Court is coming out to say that is routine. Why is it happening? Why is this routine happening at the point where Nnamdi Kanu's case was done? Why is one of the judges affected? Well, that's the question, and you don't see any coincidence in this?
There's nothing wrong with that, because it's a routine exercise. Because even the justices and even those that are the Nnamdi Kanu sympathizers, they have also come out to say that there are justices in this country that are bold to do their job. They are courageous. These justices they have come out to eulogize the judiciary, to say that they did what was right. So let us allow the rule of law to prevail.
No, but these justices now,
let me tell you, Vivian.
One of them was sent to Borno State, for instance.
It doesn't matter. They can even come back to Abuja, wherever. It is a routine. They can function from anywhere. I have laid a foundation here to say that the Court of Appeal, the way they operate, is different from the trial court. They can actually take judges and justices from wherever to take their decisions.
It's
let me tell you, Vivian.
It's amazing that you don't see the coincidence.
No. There is no coincidence. There is a routine exercise. And if you read that
now that the federal government has gone back to the Supreme Court asking for stay of execution, saying that Nnamdi Kanu is a flight risk and all
they have their right to
you don't still see the hand of the federal government in all of this.
Of course, we know that the federal government is the accuser here. So there's no doubt about that. The federal government has always said they are accusing Nnamdi Kanu of so and so crime. But what we are saying is that the judges of the Supreme Court or the justice system should be allowed to do their job.
And
that's what they are doing.
To do their job right
yes,
now with this kind of.
You didn't tell me that it is the federal government that transferred those judges.
I don't have to say that.
No. So if you don't have to say that, the judges of the Supreme, the Court of Appeal did allow judges to take their decisions on Nnamdi Kanu, and they discharged him. And they should also be allowed to do their work. Let me tell you, the people that is not transferred, it's not all of them. If you read that statement, go down, you say it's just about 3 judges that didn't affected. It is not even all of them. And let me tell you, this administration...
And that is not enough to raise concerns in your book.
This administration, you can give it to them free of charge. This administration has allowed the will of justice to prevail.
Are you serious?
More than any administration.
Are you serious?
Because this is the only place where
the same President Mohamed Buhari that Serap have gone to court severally and has refused to obey the rules of law.
This is the only government that an opposition will go to court and win cases against. And nobody has said anything.
Why wouldn't an opposition win a case?
We already have an example in our hands here. Nnamdi Kanu has won his case in court.
Did he win the case? If the federal government has taken him to the Supreme Court,
I have said it here. They have the right to do that.
He's a flight risk
it is the
national security.
No, it is the right. You have to commend those that go to court. Whenever you are right, you feel it has been infringed upon, you can go to court.
Okay,
they
Steve,
have not slaughtered
let's do a
Kanu.
quick one. Nnamdi Kanu is sick. Nnamdi Kanu is sick as we speak.
Yes.
His lawyer said that what they are the calcium they are giving to him is not helping his matter. Thirdly, he's supposed to have been discharged. He's supposed to have left. The same federal government have also pushed this matter to the Supreme Court and saying that Nnamdi Kanu is a flight risk, and then he's also there's a cost for national security. His rights should be denied.
I believe.
So how do you make sense of this?
I believe if you listen to the judgment, if you read or you have any fact about the judgment, they said that the foundation of the case is ab initio fault. Because according to law, they kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu against international protocol.
But you seem to be making a case for the federal government.
No, I am
help
not.
us to understand here.
There is something you are missing. There is something you are missing, Vivian.
Okay,
there's something you are missing, Vivian. The fact of the matter is that the court found that the federal government were wrong ab initio, trying Nnamdi Kanu in the manner they did.
The appeal court.
The Court of Appeal, because according to law and according to the court, they allegedly kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu against international protocol.
All of that is in
hold
the
on,
law,
hold on. Let me give you an example now.
We don't have all the time.
Let me explain
the question
to you.
we just want you to answer quickly is
yes.
this. You are saying that this is the only administration that gives room for rule of law.
Yes.
You also saying that this same federal government, that Nnamdi Kanu has been discharged, so you do not understand why he's still in detention.
Yes.
We also letting you know this same federal government administration have also taken Nnamdi Kanu to the Supreme Court, claiming that he's a flight risk and then the issue of national security. How do you begin to say that this is being transparent from what we are seeing right now?
Let me tell you.
Yes, please.
Nnamdi Kanu has won his case in court.
So why is he still in detention?
Hold on now. I believe that I said here that I cannot reconcile discharge and acquittal that the federal government is arguing. But it's their right to do so. They have the right to go to court. I have said that when you feel aggrieved or you feel dissatisfied about the certain decisions of court, the best place to go is to approach the court. And that is what the federal government is doing. So let us allow the wheel of justice to grind. I tell you, the foundation has already been established. The Nnamdi Kanu was tried wrongfully ab initio because according to law they breached international protocol to have extradited him to Nigeria for trial. So I don't see the federal government winning, but to say that they don't have a right to go to Court of Appeal or Supreme Court is what I argue about, because if we have the belief in the justice system, let us allow the judicial process to go. When we get there, we will get judgment and we will get justice. I stand on the fact that as of today, Nnamdi Kanu has no case to answer, but that is not to say that the federal government does not have the right to take the matter on appeal. So as let me give an example. Even Nnamdi Kanu has lost in the appeal court, it is also in the right of IPO people to also challenge it in the Supreme Court. They would have also done the same. So you can allow the system to go. It is a normal thing. Let us allow the judicial system that we have all subscribed to dispense the case in the manner they are doing.